This is Real Generational Wealth. Live from Southern California, this is Abby, Espy, and Jen.
Hello,
Hey
hello,
everyone.
ladies.
Happy 2023.
Happy 2020.
Happy 2023.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Real Generational Wealth, where we have over 50 years of combined experience making sure you and your family always have a place to call home. I know it has been a while, it's been almost a year, but we want to welcome everybody back. We are back. We will be doing this once a month, every month, second Tuesday of the month. So we hope to see you guys here live every second Tuesday. Wanted to welcome back our usual viewers, but we also want to say hello to any new viewers out there. And we wanted to start with reintroducing ourselves. I know some of you may not know who each and one of us are. So why don't we start with you, Abby? Where do you service? What do you do? How long have you been doing this? And yeah.
Hi guys, so my name is Abby Ronquillo. I'm here in my office in Corona. I own Net Realty and I service the whole Southern California. I know some people are like, San Diego's far or Palmdale is far, but I like listening to Audible, and that's how I finish my Audible books is by commuting far. And plus, I love what I do, so I don't mind driving, except for the valley, where Jen is from. I can't. I have an agent that works in the valley, and he takes care of that area because the traffic is just really bad, and I'd rather drive in long distances than be stuck in traffic.
Makes
So
sense.
I love helping first time home buyers. Right now, I really think it's a great time to buy, especially if you're doing down payment assistance, if you have a low credit scores or a low down payment, you can actually get the house that you want without too much competition. So I'll let you take it next, SB.
Okay, thank you, Abby. Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, wherever you are. I'm SP Agbayani, and I'm an independent real estate broker called SP Realty. I promote Retire in Style, so I also have a website called Retire in Style with SP.com. So for me, I have been promoting retire in style, especially for the baby boomers and their families. I've been creating a lot of workshops and talks with regards to different ways on how you can leverage your investment, your real estate investment, or your home, so that you can prepare for your retirement, increase your cash flow, just like when you do reverse mortgage and you don't have to pay any more mortgage payments from the age of 62 and over. There's also the Prop 90 or the Prop 19 now, where at 55 years old you can move and take your property tax that you are paying right now to a new home. So if you want to move to a more suitable home, to an easier to manage home, then you can do that, all over California. So I also promote Retire in Style internationally. And since I'm from the Philippines, I do a lot of promoting retirement in the Philippines. Like next week, I'm going to be in the Philippines again for a month. So I'm based here in Los Angeles. I just moved my office in Beverly Hills, just because people don't know where Sherman Oaks is.
Really?
So, yeah, so Beverly Hills, at least people know where Beverly Hills is, right? It's also in LA area. So anywhere it is, I would like to serve you, especially, of course, here in LA. If you are a baby boomer and would like to talk about how you can retire in style using your equity, especially right now when it's flooding and it's so hard to maintain your home, just give me a call.
Is
So,
it flooding? Is it flooding in your area?
Sam,
Yeah,
Mulholland has mudslides. Yeah,
Oh my
in
God.
Wood. Yeah,
I think LA in
That's
general
worse.
is
There
LA
was a
is just not built for
sinkhole or
rain.
something. Yeah,
LA's not used to rain.
No, LA is so not built. I mean, there most of the streets here are flooding, are closing down. It's.
yeah.
I mean, it's nice. Everything's green again, but it's
That's
yeah.
good.
It is
We look
pretty.
forward to that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Thank you, Abby. Thank you,
Mhm.
SB.
Yeah.
I guess it's my turn.
Uh-huh.
Real quick, short intro on me. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Jen Santulan. I have been doing real estate for, I think, 14 years now. Um, and I live here in LA. I was born and raised here in the Valley. My office is located in Woodland Hills. I'm actually in my office right now. I service basically all of the. I have serviced basically all of SoCal. I do prefer to stay in the Valley just because it's my backyard. It's what I know. Um, but some of my favorite clients are first-time home buyers, like Abby mentioned. I am a millennial myself. I am turning 36 this year, so a lot of my friends are starting to buy their first homes and stuff like that. And I love helping those kind of buyers kind of walk through that process. But the other part of my clientele are the higher end market. I do help a lot of my clients in the multi-million dollar homes price range. So if any of you are ready to look for your forever home, you let me know and I got you. But yeah, so that's the three of us. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I know it has been a while, so we are excited to be back here. We want to share with you guys everything that's changed, but I do want to touch up a little bit on last year. So let's do a little recap. Ladies, I know the biggest thing that happened last year were rising interest rates. How do you
Boo.
Mhm.
feel that has affected your guys' business?
Yeah.
It slowed it down a little bit. I mean, I still have clients that are looking for homes, but a lot of them are on the fence. So there's a lot of people on the fence just waiting for a crash or waiting for the interest rates to go down. But I don't think it's going to go down anytime soon. I think it'll take years because of inflation. It's still pretty high. Um, but the ones that are on the fence, it's kind of like, you're missing out
Yeah.
because other people are still buying a home. There's inventory is still low, so you don't have to worry about uh, a crash, and people have a lot of equity in their homes. So you real especially in Southern California, I don't foresee a crash happening, but in places that skyrocketed pretty quickly, like Las Vegas, I can see their home prices going down a little bit, going down faster than SoCal.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think SoCal ultimately is still a hot spot, regardless
Yeah.
of this exodus everyone's talking about.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to live here. I mean, don't count the rain that's been happening the last 2 weeks, but people still want to live here.
there's an exodus to leave, and then there's an exodus to come back.
Yeah.
Coming
A
back.
lot of them,
Yes.
and when they come back, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't afford the home prices in SoCal. What
Hmm.
happened? It went up like 100,000."
Yeah.
So don't
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people who are moving away from where they live, but only maybe about 30 to 40 miles away. So, like, say, if they are living in LA, they might move to San Bernardino County, or even going towards San Diego, or even Santa Clarita,
Yeah.
Mhm.
just for the affordability. And the good thing is that now, you have all these new developers that call you, and ask you, hey, we have promotions, we have incentives. Uh, Even listing agents are calling you now and following up every time
Yeah,
you
they
show
call back.
properties.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
isn't it? Yeah. So this
And
is a good time to really invest. Yeah.
I think
you,
that's definitely been the biggest change, right?
Mhm.
When we started the show in 2020, the market was nuts. You as a
Crazy.
buyer's agent, you could barely even get your buyer into a house.
Yeah.
You had to give an arm and a leg and your future child's name or something, to even get an
Yes.
offer
You're begging.
looked at, like you wouldn't even get a response. And now I think the biggest change, at least I've seen how it's affected my business, my buyers have a little more leeway, right? We
Mm.
can we can ask for a little bit of credit, which has been a huge negotiation point for both sides, right? For
Mhm.
both seller and buyer to have like a win-win situation.
Yes.
Uh, Credits and closing costs so that the seller still nets more, but the buyer still gets a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah, but going to piggyback off of what you both said was there's still low inventory, right? So
Yes.
in
There's still a
essence,
high need.
yes, there's still
Mm.
low inventory, so there's still the prices have not dropped the way everybody thinks. Everybody thinks that this
Yeah.
market's going to crash. It is not going to crash.
Mhm.
I would say maybe prices have corrected a little bit because you're not seeing people submit 200,000 above asking price anymore.
Yeah, and you
Mhm.
don't see 20 to 30 offers on each home
Yeah,
now.
Mhm.
So a lot of them are kind of sitting, which is nice because buyers have more leverage.
yeah,
Um, I had an escrow close for a new construction right before the end of the new year, and my buyers actually got more than 100,000 off of the list price.
nice.
So we got
Yes.
100,000 off and closing costs paid. So you know, people like when you're buying a home, I think new construction was the way to go at the towards the end of the year. But now that even the resale homes, you can still get a good deal. I mean, we were able, even for my clients right now, we are able to get closing costs paid by the seller, like 10,000 towards closing costs, and the price reduced, which was unheard of just a few months ago.
Right,
You would have had to bid way over asking price, or you couldn't get an appraisal. You had to waive everything, waive the home inspection, appraisal, and pretty much most of your contingencies.
yeah,
So
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So there's different kinds of financing, and the thing is, the good thing about it now, right now, is that, the sellers, and most of them are maybe the move ups, right, or even the baby boomers. They have a lot of equity, and if they cover the closing cost on the seller side, that's a deduction for them.
right,
You know, it's a deduction against their equity gain, their capital gains. So that is one way of getting the negotiation between the buyer and the seller, and also if they carry financing, in
I'm
the
seeing
90s,
that.
that was
Yeah, I
quite,
see that more often.
yeah, it was popular during the 90s. So you can do an 80-10-10, and then the 10% second would be a seller carry.
Can you tell us a little bit about what seller financing is? Because I'm seeing it more and more.
Oh, it's simple. I did one way back in the 90s, as I said. No, I had a first time home buyer, and we didn't want to do a PMI. So what we did was it was multiple offer. Okay, so what we did was we made an offer, and we said, okay, well, we're gonna do 10% down, and then seller carry back. Um, and that happened out of prying, out of asking questions, looking at the pain points. Why are you selling this? Who was living in this house? So apparently, during that time, this guy who owned the house, um, repaired the whole house, fixed the whole house.
Well,
And he was a contractor, so he fixed the whole house. So it's practically brand new, right?
yeah,
And now the daughter doesn't like to live there. So what we did was I offered for a seller carryback, and with the seller carryback, he doesn't have to pay a lot of taxes on the capital gains of the house, because that house was his for a long, long time. It was their first
oh,
house.
okay.
Yeah. So you look at pain points, what would be a trigger for the seller. And usually you look at your property profile and see how much loan they have, how long they have been there. Are they moving somewhere else? Are they in a hurry? Are they retiring? Maybe they want something that comes every month, you know? So you can do a seller carryback for maybe 2 years or 3 years, or even the whole thing can be financed, when maybe the seller would love that, because the only thing that the seller pays for taxes is whatever goes to his hands.
right.
So if he becomes a lender, you know then he doesn't have to pay all the capital gains all at once.
Makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Yeah. So all of those prying questions, or things, finding out what is good for both sides, a lot of times you can still do the deal.
Yeah.
you know
I mean, that's the thing, right? With these rising interest rates, it's forced
Mhm.
a lot more creative financing.
Mhm.
Whether
Yeah.
it's the seller financing or buy downs, which I mean, we'll
Yes.
definitely go into much more detail next week because we are going to talk to you guys about getting pre-approved next week. But in
Mhm.
general, you buyers who are watching know that just because interest rates have gone up, it's still a great time to buy. It's probably the best time to buy.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid. There's always alternatives to get around it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shelter
that's
is still number one priority on the needs of people, families, and even individuals. Shelter is still important. Yeah, it's a
Yeah, and the
priority.
rates aren't that high right now. I mean, if you get some of it covered by the seller, if you can get a little bit of a credit, you can do like 5.5%, or if you want to pay more, you can do 5%. But I just
Mhm.
so I mean, if you guys are looking or you're on the fence, just really take a look at the numbers and think about once interest rates drop. I mean, how much competition is there going to be? Like once if they drop to 4%, you're going to
Mhm.
have to compete with cash buyers and people with high down payments again. So I think right now is really a good time, especially if you're a first time home buyer.
As the
Yeah,
saying goes, you date the rate, but you marry the house, right? Like
Yeah,
if there's a
exactly.
house that you
the
love
house
that
is forever.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if there's a house that you love that works perfectly for you and your family, and you can get into it right now, get into it. Because
Mhm.
you can always refinance, lower the interest rate in the future.
Mhm. Yeah, there's more and more now. Baby boomers are retiring a lot. 10,000 baby boomers are turning 65 every day. So they're the ones that have a lot of equity. But a lot of them, they want to cling to their house and keep it for their family. But most of them are not even safe in living by themselves, or they have low cash flow. So
Mhm,
for them, all these kind of situations, this is the time actually to really think about repositioning yourself, because the value of your home is still high. You still,
mhm,
while you still have that big equity, I think it's good for you to think about transitioning, you know, to a more suitable house, take that equity and split it. That way you will have cash flow.
Yeah.
Like reverse mortgage, where you don't have to pay mortgage anymore in the next house. You can use reverse mortgage to purchase a house, which is called HECM, you know, or you can invest in another home and live in a smaller home or relocate. There's so many people who are actually moving, like in South America or in Spain. Do you know that? So yeah, and they are
Especially
really
with
enjoying it.
almost everybody's working from home, right?
Yes.
Even after the world opened up again, a lot of
Hmm.
companies continued the whole work from home concept, right? And so a lot of people are still working from home. No one needs to go into the office anymore. You can essentially work from anywhere in the world.
Hmm.
some
Hmm.
places, but Elon Musk, like he kind of messed that up for people. So some of the auto manufacturers, like they're making their workers go back into the office.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the ones in
Yeah.
that sector, they have to go back into the office.
Uh,
But yeah, for the most part, most people do work remotely, and those are the ones. I think that's why we've seen an influx of people going into the Inland Empire. Like a lot of them
right.
work in Orange County. Like they're young professionals in Orange County and Los Angeles County, and then they move into the Inland Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year I went to the Philippines a couple of times, and I'm going there again next week. And I see a lot of people who are like they call them nomads, digital
Yeah.
nomads. Young people. I mean, even
Oh
just like
yeah,
you, Abby and Jan,
Yeah.
you
yeah.
know, they
Well, I'm
can
not
do their
young
business.
anymore. I'm gonna be 43 next
So
month.
young.
So I think I'm a tita. um, but I know what you're talking about. Like in Bali,
Hmm.
they're paying people to work and live there. Like they're
Hmm.
actually paying you to have your workplace there and to. So since most people are working remotely, you can pretty much work anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. I would have done that if it was 20 years ago.
I
Now
do
with
want to
kids, it's
piggyback
like I don't
off
know.
of what SB just mentioned and how it's important for people to know kind of where their home values stand because I think some people don't realize how much equity they have
Mhm.
that they don't realize how much. And I want to bring it up because I do have some clients that I'm in escrow with now. We are getting ready to close, but they basically had a notice of default. And so
Mhm.
story was husband passed away, wife could just no longer carry the payments. And with the moratoriums being lifted, the bank basically said, "Hey, you're coming up on your payments. You need to pay this." And the wife just couldn't. So
Mhm.
the notice of default was filed, and
Mhm.
they didn't realize that they actually had a way out. I think they thought,
Mhm.
"Oh, man, we're facing foreclosure. We're going
Yeah.
to lose the house, this and that." It just so happened that a friend of a friend of a family member knew me and was like, "Hey, why don't you talk to Jen?" So I sat
Mhm.
with them, and I mean, I think they're going to end up with like a net proceed of $300,000. They didn't even
Wow.
realize
Oh my
that.
God. Can you
Yeah,
imagine if they didn't contact you, they
Yeah.
would have lost
that's
that.
why, I mean, like our
Mhm.
sale date, we had like a foreclosure sale date in 2 weeks, and so
Yeah.
they could have lost that. So for any of you watching, I understand it could be a touchy subject, but know that you can
Mhm.
reach out to any one of us. Like, we're here to help you get your equity that you have spent you've put your hard work in to build that equity on your home, because it's so important to get that out, instead of
Yeah.
losing. Why would you want the bank to take that? Right.
Yeah, when there's a tragic thing that happens, like somebody passed away and you've lived in the house for a long time, sometimes you're out of touch of how much you have in your home,
Yeah.
you know.
That's true.
And it happened to me in 2008 when I helped a lot of people when they were doing short sale. I had to do some short sale for them, and there's so many people who are not really familiar. A lot of people, it's new. Even for me it was new. So all these new laws and all the things that you can do, loan modification, all these talking to the banks and negotiating with the lender and all that, that is something that we could do.
Yeah.
That is something that it's before you make any kind of drastic action, it's always good to reach out to realtors that have been through and help homeowners save their home.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're welcoming you to reach out and ask questions, and it's free.
Yeah. Also, the people out there that think, "Oh, my credit is terrible. I've had
Yeah.
a bankruptcy. I had a foreclosure. I can't get a
Hmm.
house." That's not true. You have a
Yeah.
lot of options. I've helped a lot of people that have gone through bankruptcies and had foreclosures, and they're still able to get a home with a decent interest rate.
Hmm.
So, just if you have any questions, just remember you can contact us. And no question is a dumb question, because
Yeah.
some people do get shy and they're ashamed that they have bad credit. But I've had some clients that started with a 480 credit score, and we were still able to get them a home after working with them for a few months or even a year. They're still able to find a home.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
that being said, now that we are in the new year, we obviously want to help all of you guys here, all of you watching, either buy or sell this year. There have been a few new things that we kind of want to touch up on. Some changes this year there are new loan limits. What does that mean? Abby or SB, if you guys want to touch up
Okay,
on that.
I can get that
Yeah,
for you
Abby
guys.
can say that. Yeah.
So in Los Angeles, the new loan limit for FHA and conventional is, oh my gosh, 1,089,300. So
Hmm.
this means you can take out a loan for $1 million, basically, and then buy a home in LA. It's because the home
That's for a
prices in
single
LA are good.
family home, Abby,
That's for
right?
single family residents. So single
Hmm.
unit, single family residents.
So
For
multi-unit goes
It's
up.
more for fourplex.
Yeah.
For Ventura County, it's 948,750. So if you're looking like in Simi Valley, I think Oxnard is in
Yep.
Ventura County, you can get a loan for almost 950,000. In San Bernardino and Riverside, where I cover, it's kind of sad. It's like 644,000 for the FHA loan limit. Conventional, it's 726,000. 200. And then for San Diego, it's almost $1 million, 977,500. Orange County, now Orange County prices are actually higher than LA County, or no, actually the rent is higher than LA County, but the loan limits are the same as LA County. So 1,089,300 for the loan limit for FHA and conventional. You guys might be thinking like, what is a loan limit? Why do I care? So when my clients were looking for a home a couple years ago, the loan limit in San Bernardino County was, I think, five,
Something.
around 500,000, and we had to go to Palmdale because the loan
Mhm.
limits were higher. So it really changed the trajectory of their home buying from Inland Empire to Palmdale or Lancaster area. So it makes a big difference, but these loan limits are pretty high. That's the highest that I've ever seen them.
I
So
mean,
let us know what you think. What do you guys think? Are you gonna go to the limit in Los Angeles or Orange County?
keep in mind, Abby just said these are FHA loan limits, right? So in Los Angeles County, you can get up to almost 1.1 loan limit, meaning you can probably go up to,
Conventional.
let's just say, a 1.1 purchase price
Mhm.
and put
Mhm.
3.5% down.
Yeah.
FHA is 3.5% down.
They
Mhm.
can
And
get an apartment, right? They can get an apartment, like a 4 unit
I,
apartment,
I
live in one of them,
typically
and
go
then
up.
use some of
Yeah.
the rent
Yeah, if
from the
it's a four
other.
unit, you can get even more.
Yeah. The limit's higher.
Mhm.
That's true.
And you can use the income of the three other units to qualify for the loan,
Yep.
for the loan amount.
That's only for FHA, right? That
No,
you can
no,
do
that's
that.
even for
No.
You can
conventional.
do that for okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. Loan limits have increased, so that's definitely much more buying power for buyers out there. So
Hmm.
that's one thing. I know a few other changes this year. There have been some new laws. There's one that I specifically want to mention because it's affected a lot of my sellers. It's the new, well, I think the slang term that the real estate industry is calling it is a mansion tax. But I think it's the Los Angeles ULA, or I'm not sure what
You
the,
did transfer?
yeah, I'm not sure what the formal name for it is, but it's an additional city transfer tax. So
Hmm.
if you are selling a house that's over $5 million but less than $10 million, it's an additional 4% transfer tax on your final purchase price. And then anything over $10 million is an additional 5.5% transfer
That's a
tax. So
lot.
yeah,
Where's
Quite a
that
bit.
money gonna go?
it's changed. I mean, and that's for all real estate in general. So I have some clients who own apartment buildings, that
Hmm.
Yeah.
that was worth anywhere between 6 to 8 mil, and now it's like, oh man, that it just changes a lot.
Hmm.
So it's going to
Hmm.
affect prices. It's going to affect a lot of things. But I mean, that's one new law. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, that's the reason why you need the seller net sheet.
Yes,
That's true. I
So
mean,
there's no surprises.
yes,
Yeah.
it's not really a new law, but like last year, the later part of last year, we were looking into getting an Airbnb in Big Bear. But you know what? I've been looking at the occupancy rates and with the economy. So I think the economy affects how much discretionary income you have when we're in a kind of pseudo recession. I don't know if if we're really in a recession yet, but not a lot of people have discretionary income to stay at Airbnbs or to go to Big Bear. So that's why the occupancy rates are really low. And I was just like, you know what? I think we're going to end up losing money on Airbnbs, maybe just for now. But I think long term rentals is the way to go. I don't know, Jen, if you guys had like a short term rental. Did they not allow those for your rental property?
yes. So specific, like you said, it's not necessarily a new law, but more and more cities have been
They have an
Restricting.
canceling.
ordinance.
Yeah, they have been canceling the issuance of new short-term rental
Right.
permits. So I
Yes.
actually sold a
Short term.
property in Lake Arrowhead last fall, and
Mhm.
or I guess it
Mhm.
was summer. Um, Before we opened escrow, Lake Arrowhead specifically had stopped issuing new permits, but it was only up until July 29, and we were closing
Mhm.
escrow I think first or second week of August. And I had put that in there as a contingency for my buyers that if that was not lifted, if they couldn't get a short-term permit, then they were going to cancel.
Mm-hmm.
So, end of July, we called up the city. The city said, "Yeah, we're allowing them again." So my buyers moved forward with the sale. But La Quinta, where I purchased, they issued that stop on new short-term rental permits back in 2020. So I personally don't have a short-term rental permit on my property, but the desert's a little bit of a different market. You have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
snowbirds that always go out to the desert because it's a desert. A lot we like
Mhm.
I currently have a tenant in there who's been there for about a month and a half,
So
and
Mm-hmm.
no problem with finding tenants.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we have usually like Canadians and like people who are used to the snow right now in the winter, and they want to come out to the desert where there's more access to tennis
Mhm.
and you know hot
Mhm.
springs and things like that. So
Like for
I think
me, I prefer long-term rentals. I mean, we've had the same renter since 2016. I've never raised the rent on her. It's not that I'm scared.
Wow.
It's just that
You're losing money.
no, actually, our we bought it for 457. So our
Mhm.
mortgage is low. She's covering the mortgage, and
Mhm.
we actually we use it as a write off,
nice.
Mm.
too, because my
Okay.
husband's income. So it's good.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a tax shelter, but and she helps us and she takes care of the house really well. When I drove
Of
by on
course.
Christmas to
Yeah.
give her a present, I was just like, wow, she takes care of the house better than we take care of our own house. So it's
Mhm.
just hard to find a renter like
I
that.
mean, long-term tenants, I think, are like you said, you don't want to raise the rent because they've been great. I mean, I think if you have solid paying, tenants, like I think you're
Yeah,
good.
they pay before the end of the month, not at the beginning of the month. Because I told her if you're late, your rent's gonna go up. So
Mhm.
she always pays it like at the 30th or the 29th of the month.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's just something my someone told my husband that like just a lesson for you, if you have a good renter, just keep the rent low and let them stay there, because having a problem renter, even though they're just there for a year, it can really affect the value of your home. So
Yeah.
we thought about that
Less
when
headache.
yeah, but we did try to diversify our portfolio by looking into short-term rentals, but I just think with the economy the way it is, like eggs are like $20.
Hmm.
Not a lot of people have discretionary income to
Yeah.
spend right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah,
maybe
Abby, it's good to maintain a good tenant. The only thing is, if you keep it too low, and then later on, somewhere down the line, you need to
Increase.
change change your
oh, to
tenant.
do the 1031, yeah.
No, no, to change your
Oh,
tenant. That tenant might not want to leave, and they can do all kinds of problems with you.
no,
So that's
she's not
something
that
that you
kind of
might,
tenant. They're
huh?
not like that. They're really nice. Like every holiday, they're like, "Oh, Merry
Uh-huh.
Christmas, Abby!" Or like, we even give each other presents. It's not that kind of a relationship. So I've
Mm-hmm.
never, even with my clients that I've found tenants for, I've never seen tenants like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a good feeling about her, and her family, that they would take care of the house. So I don't want to punish her by raising the rent, like punishing her for paying on time for 6 years. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah. I
I
mean,
Well,
mean,
later
the
about
on,
this
tenants are
ADU, you were mentioning to me about the ADU. So I have questions about those kinds of improvement here in the valley, especially in North Hollywood. you know
hmm
so there's more and more people now where the families are tending to live together in different generations, and what they would do is an alternative would be to put an ADU in their backyard. It can be an income generation generating unit, or it can be for the younger couple that just got married. you know and so it's forming like a symbiotic relationship for the families, because they kind of like watch each other.
right.
So what's your experience on that, Jen or Abby? Have you
ADU.
have you worked with somebody who is doing the ADU or
I
lived
think
in ADUs?
I don't have too much experience with it, but I just think it's a good way to avoid paying high rents. Just living
Mm-hmm.
with your family in the yard, or in just have yeah, they have a structure in their backyard or something, and you can live there. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have too much experience in it.
So the house I bought last year, I bought a house in November.
Yeah.
I got married last year. For those of
Congratulations.
you guys
I saw
who,
that.
Had a lot of stuff happen.
yeah, for those of you guys who are watching, a lot of the big reason why we took a lot of time off last year. At the beginning of the year, I lost my dad, and then so for a few months I did absolutely nothing. But then picked back up. Then I got married. Then I went on a honeymoon, and then I bought a house. So life has been kind of crazy.
Life changes. Yeah.
But the house I bought actually has an ADU. So the house that I bought it has been completely rebuilt. It's basically brand new, and it has an EDU. The nice thing is, I was able to use the potential income for the EDU to help me qualify for my loan.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
Really?
before it used
Yeah,
to,
because you can use income, future
yeah.
income,
So
rental.
Oh,
you,
that's cool.
yeah, before it used to be for multi units, like you had mentioned earlier, SP, when Abby was talking about, the loan limits. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people would look at duplexes, triplexes, and
Mm-hmm.
the potential rent that you can get from the additional units
Yeah.
would be used towards qualifying for your loan. But now
Mm-hmm.
they introduced that you can actually use ADU income also.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the reason they didn't before was an accessory dwelling unit. It was typically like an in-laws quarters, right? Because it's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a duplex or a triplex, sometimes the units were almost like equal in size to the main
Yeah.
house.
Mm-hmm.
But more and more people, like you said, SPR, you're noticing people are building ADUs for the
Yeah.
additional income. So it
Mm-hmm.
really is basically a duplex, right? Or a
Mm-hmm.
multiplex and income producing. So
Mm-hmm.
I was able to use that income, potential income. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's not
Very
rented
good.
yet.
So you
That's
found a good
another hack.
lender.
It's actually still
Yeah.
holding some of my boxes. I
Yeah.
haven't fully unpacked
Are
yet,
you gonna
but
rent it out?
I am. I am planning to rent it out. I
Mm-hmm.
actually had a couple friends that were interested in it. No one's quite ready yet. So if I don't have a potential friend, or if I don't have anybody who's interested for long term in the next like month or so, I'm probably gonna try an Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know a few people in the area that have actually started renting out their ADUs, even for like $100 a night. Like it works. It's extra guest quarters for
Well, a
So
hundred
like,
bucks a night is like how much per month? Yeah.
it's a lot of
That's
money.
not a change.
It'd be great.
That can
Yeah,
take care of all your utilities and all the
yeah,
expenses you need for the house to maintain it, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's basically it. I mean, the nice thing about the ADU is you can use the potential income
Mhm.
to help qualify
Mhm.
for a loan, but it's extra space for, like you said, multi-generational families, you know.
Yeah. Actually, the ADU with the Prop 19, you can have you can subdivide the property and have different, titles on the property. It's not like as if
Mhm.
it's like a
Nice.
fourplex, or you can subdivide it. And there are some developers who can help you do that, or you buy it, and then they can help you finance the building of the second unit, and have them, and they will take care of subdividing it for you, you know so
Cool.
that is something that some people here in the valley are doing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm just, there's more people are building the ADUs for the additional income.
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially right now, renters, there is a big demand for rental properties,
Yeah.
yeah,
and the
rents are
cheaper it
going
is,
up
the
so
better it
much.
is. How
I mean,
much
the
is how
condo
much is
that
an apartment now?
I mean, the condo that I was living in, I thought that mid-December when I put it on the market for rent, I was like, oh my
Oh,
God, it's the
just
Crazy.
holidays. No one's going to worry about two mortgages. I found a
Uh-huh.
tenant within a week.
wow.
Yeah.
And some tenants, they're also paying for a year in advance.
My tenant paid me 6 months upfront.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying, like you said, there is such a demand that
Yeah.
I think I think the rental market is so much crazier now than
Mhm.
the purchase
Mhm.
market. So those of you watching, if you want to rent, don't rent. Buy.
Very anti-rent.
Yeah.
Because let me see, $2,000 a month. That's
I
twenty
think
four thousand a year that you're paying
yeah.
towards your landlord's mortgage, making your landlord richer rather than yourself. So just think about that. And most people pay more than 2,000 a month.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
average rent for LA and OC County or Orange County is 2,500. It's over 2,500
yeah.
in
I mean, I
2022.
rented out my two-bedroom condo, two bed, two bath for 3,000 a month. So
That's more than what I rent our house for now. I'm thinking we should probably rent it for more.
There's no more 1,500 or
rents,
1,600. That's gone. That's only for a room in a small
yeah,
house.
I mean rent constantly goes up, right? Every
Yeah.
year. Well, other than Abby, if Abby's your landlord, she's not gonna rent, she's
I
not gonna raise
know
your
I
rent.
can't. I can't increase the rent. Oh no,
But
it's an integrity thing. I said as long as you pay on time, I won't increase the rent. And she's
yeah.
paid on time, so I have no reason to increase the rent.
And I think that's fine
I'm
because
a
like you
man
said,
of my word.
I mean
You're one of the few out there.
you're
So
already
there's still
profiting.
some possibility. So
I mean, like a couple hundred a month doesn't really make a difference for us, and plus, my husband needs the write-offs. Like his income's
Mhm,
pretty good, so we need a tax shelter. We need
mhm.
something to offset his income. But
Mhm.
let's say hi to the viewers that posted comments. Hey, Shauna. Shauna's one of my clients. We're in escrow right now.
Nice. Congratulations, Shauna.
Yeah.
Oh
Hey,
wow! You know
Ornella.
what? I'm yeah. I
Jennifer
did not
Lee.
see this. We have different
And then Jennifer.
viewers. Yeah, Jennifer Lee is here.
And then
Yeah, Ornella, Jennifer
JP
Lee,
Ornella.
Harry,
Harry
JP.
Karajan.
Oh, Jennifer Gomez said right now it's easier to rent than to buy. Unfortunately, my husband and I got a three-bedroom apartment for rent in East Ventura for 2775.
Oh, almost 3,000.
I definitely think it's location specific
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
true. Plus
because I mean,
2770.
yes,
Well, 2775 for 3 bedroom. That's still that's still within the range. You know, some people are paying 3,500 up to 5,000.
yeah,
So
Here in Shamanogs, three
2775.
two is like 5,000.
Yeah, and that's like it's like a mortgage for a home that's around 450 maybe for with 3.5% down. But it's hard to get a three-bedroom for that price for
Mm-hmm.
450. I guess it depends on the area.
right. That's why it's specific.
But yeah, rent.
Whenever you're ready, Jennifer, you can give us any one of us a call when you're ready to buy.
Yeah, Ventura County is expensive. The home prices haven't gone down. You'd think with the interest rates being close to 7% that the home prices would be lower, but no, they're
Yeah,
still kind of the same.
Yeah, because baby boomers are the kids of the baby boomers. They are buying homes, or they have
Millennials.
to they have to find a place to live. They're starting their families. So they're the ones that's really keeping the demand high, you know. And because the baby boomers have a lot of equity, which is usually their parents or the sellers, they're the ones that help on the down payment.
But where do the baby boomers go after? Like, okay, for I know you sell in the Philippines. Like my mom, she's going back to the Philippines to get a
Mm-hmm.
home built.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, like how
Yeah.
how do you know it's legit? What are you like? If what you're buying, are you really gonna have title to it? You
Well,
know, like
yeah, of course.
in the
You
Philippines,
have
it's
to
a
ask
little bit.
somebody like me.
I know you should. My mom's in the Philippines right now. You should
I'm
go.
going
I should
there.
connect you guys,
In
but she's in
fact, we have
Dumaguete.
properties in the Philippines that are going to be, it's in San Miguel, Bulacan. And we
Mhm.
have several hectares there that I am looking for developers for it. We have
Mm.
119 hectare that is already bought by one of the main developers, and we were not happy with what they did. They built affordable housing on it, and I think they should have done something better than that. So we're looking at some medical center to build
Mhm.
because it's close to the airport by the time that the bypass is done. So there's a lot of communities that are being built, and just like your mom is just one example. There's a lot of people who work overseas that now they're starting to look at moving back to the Philippines to have a better quality of life. you know. So there are some, a lot of them are so focused about, oh, Medicare is not going to be covered, or but that's just part of it, and people for some reason they find a way to deal with that,
Yeah.
you know. And there's more and more solutions now, actually.
Yeah, that's true. Like a lot of them fly back to the US if there's any major medical
Hmm.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there are some that I call balik-balikan. They go there for 6 months. They come here, take care of their
Hmm.
taxes, they take care of their
Yeah.
checkups, and all that. You know, it's funny because some people go there because dentist there is so cheap. You know, I have a friend of mine who had to change the whole thing, and it cost him, it cost him a lot less. That is
Well,
including his hotel and his airfare. It's still cheaper. You
that's
know.
impressive.
Yeah, Social Security can go a lot further in the Philippines than
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you have a social security of $2,000, you know,
Hmm.
there's different places in the world, like in Portugal. A lot of people moving to Portugal. Your 2,000 can go way too far there. You know, you can retire nicely there for $2,000 a month. You know, yeah, yeah. So different ways, different. You know, the baby boomers now are more independent. They like to explore. They like to live in different places. So if that's something
Go
that you want to
cruising,
fancy,
go on cruises.
yeah, or go to cruises, yeah, hmm, yeah. So they like to travel, and yeah, there's always a solution. Every time that you want something, you have to want it really bad, and then things happens, right, Jen?
I think the one thing you always have said before, SB, you've said it multiple times on our show, is when you want something bad enough,
Yeah,
doors will open for you.
Yeah,
right.
as long as you
Literally
have the
and figuratively.
desire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've seen it over and over again. You know,
Yeah.
the rule of manifestation, rule of attraction. It happens. You
Yeah.
know, even for me, you know, the Medicare. I thought that I cannot afford my Medicare and my PPP, but then suddenly I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I think I can. If I add up the advantage and disadvantage, it's still better to be in Medicare and have a supplement. You know, keep my supplement there. Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway,
I just want to do a quick shout out to Jay Aquino. He commented saying Happy New Year's and he's happy to see everyone.
hi Jay, our Texan
What's
guy.
up, Jay? Happy New Year.
He's now a
We are back.
Texan.
um, for those of you who don't know, Jay is kind of the reason why we are all here. We actually started this show a couple years ago at the beginning of 2020.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and we are back. We are happy to be back. We will be here every second Tuesday of the month. So,
Mm.
unless you ladies have anything else to add, we would love to see you guys live
Oh, can I plug in something?
the second week of February. We are going to talk to you guys about getting pre-approved. We definitely want to make this year the year that you guys become homeowners. So we'll walk you through the
Yes.
process and answer any questions for you guys then.
Yeah, I want to mention something about. I am also doing a live stream once a month in on Thursdays at 5:30 with Eforium. He is he is a broker that promotes Philippine properties and Philippine um, you know, like even real estate. So we do have some feature once a month, every Thursday, that we do live streaming.
Nice.
Awesome.
We'll be
Be
Yeah,
sure to
sure to
watch
tune in to
it.
that too, guys.
yeah, yeah.
Alrighty. Well, we will see you guys next month then. Until then, everybody have a good night
All
and happy
right.
new year again.
Thank you. Happy New
Bye.
Year.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Call us.